All right. Happy Wednesday. What's up, boys? It's SEC.
Grooving to the music, man. Our intro music. I'm just grooving to that.
Yeah. Very groovy. Very groovy. So we're here for another groovy week 3 edition of the SEC After Dark podcast on After Dark channel and Bleav Network as well on the audio side. So how are we doing? Stephen Willis, Jeb Beecham, and Jake Thomas join me. I am Corey Burton. We are presented by DeadSoxy. What's up, boys?
Doing great.
Doing great.
Yeah, it's been a long week so far, but
yeah.
This week,
I'm sorry, the heat on the Stewart's Cajun dill pickle is a little bit too much for me.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Steve's regretting his decision to eat a pickle right before showtime. So,
Nice.
Yeah, they sponsor our picks. They're great. I'm still waiting on my pickles, by the way. So,
they got put in the mail. They should be there by next week's show. We should get that. They sent y'all, all three of y'all, the mix, which is the asparagus, the green beans, and all that.
nice.
Okay.
Now, did Jeb get his to the penitentiary, or did he get it shipped to his house?
It's being shipped to his house.
Okay,
I'm
good.
going home this weekend. This is my last show from here until next month, and then I'll probably be back here.
I know we probably shouldn't do a live stream on this one, but Jeb, you need to rearm your house.
Oh gosh.
Oh, actually, well, yeah. I tell everybody out there, yeah, my house is not armed. But I was going to turn it off this weekend anyway and ask you to go over and turn the air down because for some reason
already did that because as soon as I knew that this weekend I would forget. So I was like, just go ahead and go do it. Yeah.
I appreciate it because that part's not working from my phone anymore. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But,
all right. So,
that's
Hope
personal business.
everybody enjoyed that. Yeah.
There you go. So, Jake, I need to run to Costco tomorrow, so I got a list of items here.
Nice little Saturday.
Nice little Saturday
Go to Home
plan.
Depot.
Go to Home
Don't know if
Depot,
we'll have the
Costco.
time.
I don't know if we'll have enough time. But we are presented by DeadSoxy. Hey there, college sports fans. Want to show your allegiance down to your socks? DeadSoxy's got you covered with vibrant socks in your team's colors. Whether it's purple and gold, crimson, or cardinal, DeadSoxy is the place to go.
Or even orange.
Yeah, they have orange. Believe it or not.
You shut your mouth.
It probably with DeadSoxy, the orange actually probably does look good. Better than any other brand, I should say.
Yeah,
but
that's saying something if it's Tennessee orange.
Exactly. That's highlighter.
I'm about to quit the show.
Do they have a highlighter color? Well, you can go to deadsoxy.com and find out. So,
Staples.
And color it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But if you found a pair you like, subscribe for big time perks like constant 25% discount, early access to exclusive styles, and free shipping. Plus, we welcome new members with a free gift. Who doesn't love a free gift? So why wait?
I like a free gift.
I love free gift. Find your new favorite socks at deadsoxy.com right now. And as always, stay soxy, my friends. Also, when we come to our picks segment, not only are they presented by Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, which is absolutely lighting Steve up right now, but they also are presented. The lines are presented by BetOnline.ag, their number one sports betting site. They have everything you want. College football odds. NFL is now going into week 2, so you can make some nice parlays on the NFL as well. MLB in full swing. When the NBA and NHL kick up, you'll be able to bet on all of that. So lots of action. You can always bet NBA and NHL futures. They have futures too. I'm sure all of you put money on Caleb Williams for the Heisman. I know I did not, but they have it all. They have live casino games as well. So what you need to do, go to betonline.ag, use the promo code Bleav when you sign up. That's BLEAV to get your 50% welcome bonus. All right. You get half of your first deposit as a bonus. It's free money
all over. It's free.
And just to be clear, in case you did something crazy like bet on Joe Milton to be the Heisman candidate, they won't give you your money back. So be careful when you're betting.
Jeb. I know he's on your team, but did you really?
No, I thought about it, but no. And now I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
Hey, I watched the NFL season review for Aaron Rodgers the other day, and it was breathtaking.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, I was watching that game. It's a mix between funny and terrible, dude.
I mean, his 2023, season highlights are incredible. He ran on the field, and that's it.
He ran with the flag. He fell down. And
old man.
Yeah,
I mean, you saw the Achilles just pop when they put it in slow mo. You saw it. It was like a
It's like in real time, it didn't look like anything happened.
Right.
Nothing got
does.
rolled up. It just looked fine.
It never does.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, I am not about to get political. I'm not. But on Twitter, they talked about it as like Colin Kaepernick's agents have reached out to the New York Jets. And I was like, he hasn't played football in 10 years. Stop it.
Right.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's like the last time he played like against Dan Marino. That's how long it's been. Stop it.
I don't know that.
I mean,
We could trade him to Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, that was garbage performance.
Trade him Will Levis. There you go. Nah, they're going to roll the Zach Wilson train.
Well,
Yeah.
they should. He was their second draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
And
That
he won the
defense
game,
is
so-
legit, by the way. That Jets defense is that they're real.
Yeah.
Quentin Williams in that middle is really good.
BetOnline.ag. It's where the game starts. So yeah, I didn't want to get stuck in it. I wanted to get
Yeah, we just ended up. It's like let's go straight off the rails. We haven't even gotten into the fact that the SEC is broken and it just means mid. And who wins the SEC West? I mean, Ole Miss has the biggest win of the SEC after 2 weeks, and that was against Tulane.
Well, Georgia ain't played anybody yet, so we don't qualify yet.
We're not going to talk about Georgia.
There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Tennessee was they tied at halftime with Austin.
At Austin P.
We were winning most of the game, just not convincing.
Made it interesting.
Yeah.
Made it interesting. Austin Peay's good, man. They're good.
Not that good.
No, Corey.
They're good.
Corey.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Corey.
I'm just kidding. I'm just giving Jeb a hard time.
No, Joe Milton literally tried to kill his receivers and almost succeeded. He tried.
Well,
It's because somebody got in the way of him throwing the ball 40 yards.
You can't throw it 150 miles an hour to your receiver. Right?
Not when they're 5 yards out.
Yeah, the Tennessee wide receivers, it's like they set the jugs machine on 120 and said, let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
That was rough. And he was off target the whole time too. That was a bad game for him.
And Steve, you made a good comment about mid. Let me tell you something that's mid. I have the week 3 tell the tape for Alabama versus South Florida now. Listen to this. Of course, the ranking is Alabama 10, South Florida is not ranked. Record 1-1 on both sides. The total offense, Alabama's total offense is 396.5, which is 66th ranked, and South Florida is 441, which is 48th. Total defense, Alabama's giving up 332.5 yards, 62nd ranked. Total defense for South Florida, 429. That's 112th. And points per game, 40, 29 for Alabama, and 31 for which is 60th ranked for South Florida. You're talking about mid-off. This is a genuine mid-off because Alabama can't get their together.
The battle of mid.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, shout out to Tua.
No, yeah, I would love to have Tua back.
Lennox,
I
quit
called
disrespecting him, though. It's proper now.
I've been on the Tua train when everybody else was trying to say he's crap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've always been on his side. That's true.
Well, Tua was crap because Tua was banged up and not healthy.
And when he's healthy, my God.
Tua was crap because he didn't have those wide receivers. And once you have that, he's so accurate, it just didn't matter. It's like Drew Brees.
Yeah.
You know, what made Drew Brees so good was the fact that he immediately came in and had Jimmy Graham and Marcus Colston.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have that speedy wide receiver, and then all of a sudden Drew Brees becomes what he is. But the Saints always had a dude on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And now Tua's getting those guys as well. And like whenever I look at Tua, I said this whenever he got drafted. He's Drew Brees. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to be fine. And the Dolphins, I'm looking forward to the Dolphins and Jets, and I hope the Jets wear the throwback jerseys because after watching that Monday Night Football game, seeing how the Jets look, why they even changed those jerseys to begin with was absolutely stupid. Those absolutely
they wanted to
fantastic.
recreate the 1970 vibe with the Super Bowl champion, which is a mistake.
And Tua said today in the press conference, people are still saying that he can't throw it deep. and he's like 466 yards. If I can't throw it deep, then I still got 466 yards on short and intermediate routes. So
Who cares?
I can live with that. Yeah,
exactly. He said, "I don't care."
Yeah, it's the whole thing. Everybody's got the Al Davis mentality when it comes to the pass game. If you can't throw a 30-yard out route on a line, you have a weak arm, and you obviously can't throw the ball downfield. And it's like, what kind of football? What is the NFL you're watching? Terry Bradshaw isn't walking through that door anytime soon.
Yeah,
Dan Marino, rifle arm Dan Marino ain't walking through that door.
Kenny O'Brien, Jets.
Joe Milton ain't walking. Oh wait,
although could you imagine him on the Dolphins? Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
He would knock them
they'd
over.
run 80
them
yard
over,
routes every time.
After watching Joe Milton in the first week and first 2 weeks of the SEC, I'm convinced he will go 4th and 5th in the NFL draft.
Oh,
Just
did you see Anthony Richardson's debut? Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little
He did
surprised
get
on
hurt
that.
though. Not bad. Not bad. He might be okay.
Yeah, no.
Might be okay, Steve.
Have you ever heard of JT Snow, Corey?
JT Snow, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Played for the Angels.
JT,
Is he doing former? Oh, that's a different Snow.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
JT
yellow
Snow came into Major League Baseball and hit 10 home runs in the month of March or month of April, whatever the first month of the season was. He was hitting about 440. Everybody was raving about this new prospect and how he was going to completely reinvent baseball. How many home runs did he have for the season?
I'm not real
10.
sure. Probably
20.
15.
I think it was 12. He hit one more. He hit 11 in the month of April. I think was the first full month. And he hit one after that. And he had like a 205 batting average right around the Mendoza line. The point of the matter is they're going to figure out how to play Anthony Richardson. If Tennessee can do it, if Vanderbilt can do it, the people in the NFL can do it too.
Fair point. But he did have a good first week. I'll tell you who did not have a good first week. Will Levis. He was inactive.
Anybody could have done better than Ryan Tannehill.
Well, I was going to say we didn't see another quarterback, so I don't know who was there.
Yeah,
Derek Carr had a pretty good first week.
he did.
I would say he did.
Yeah.
I would say
I think the Saints with Derek Carr, they look like they could be legit in that division. Now, we talk about the SEC just meaning mid, the NFC South, it just means mid too. And so I think the best of the bad teams in the NFL South is probably the New Orleans Saints. You might see a team win 10 or 11 ball games.
Falcons defense is pretty mid sporty.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the other team I'm forgetting there? Panthers, Falcons, Saints,
Bucks.
Bucks. Oh, the Bucks weren't too bad either.
Yeah, they beat Minnesota. Of course, that's like Baker Mayfield beat Kirk Cousins. So let's talk about a mid-off, right? That seems to be the theme today.
Yeah.
And then Desmond Ridder beat Bryce Young in the ultimate mid-off.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. That's true.
That was an ugly game.
That was.
But Bijan scored. Falcons defense came through.
It was look at us talking like we're Generation Z. If I get a telescope, I can see Generation Z.
Through your monocle.
Yeah.
All right. SEC, why is it broken?
Yes.
Wow.
Look, Jeff's like, okay, we got to get into it. The SEC absolutely
get into this
is
first
broken.
option.
Okay. What we need to talk about is let's talk about Alabama. And I'm not going to just talk about how Alabama lost the game. I think it was how Alabama lost that football game is the problem.
Yeah, Texas scored more points than they did.
No. Texas dominated the line of scrimmage.
No, they absolutely did. And they had no answers for A.D. Mitchell, who's been a Bama killer.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever that happened, Alabama used to, whenever you think about it, and this is not me crapping on Alabama, okay? Before anybody thinks that. This is me being real. Used to, Alabama would have a top 5 player at each of the positions in college football. You'd go through there, it'd be a top 5 player, whether it was, I don't know, the defensive back, Landon Collins or something, or, Reuben Foster. There was always a dude at every level of the defense. Now, if you look at who for top 5 players on Alabama's team, it's maybe Kool-Aid McKinstry, maybe Dallas Turner, But after that, it's kind of it. That's kind of it. That's the list. And that's
JC
why
Latham,
Alabama.
He's not on defense.
Yeah, that's the reason Alabama lost to Texas. And Alabama struggling against that passing attack. That passing attack is going to come back to Tuscaloosa in 10 days. Exactly.
Yeah, Ole Miss.
And if Alabama can't get right against USF, and they might. Granted, USF is coached by Alex Galesh, who was Tennessee's offensive coordinator last year. So
that's right.
Who lit us up?
Yeah, so that has a chance to be more hairy than we're probably letting on. Although we're going to play the game probably that Alabama's ticked off, and I feel sorry for USF. But I mean that like
USF is still bad.
Hey,
There's nothing
they have a wrought iron fence around their campus, and it's on the way to. I go to the VA, and I drive past USF, and it is fantastic.
It's pretty cool.
It's
pretty cool.
And they're building an on-campus stadium soon. So apparently, USF is a big academic and probably the best academic school in the state of Florida of the public schools. And I guess. State. I mean, with my brain doctor being from there, I guess I'm kind of happy with that. But they're an AAU school. It's weird to think about South Florida being an AAU school.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Me either.
No, wouldn't have guessed that either. But for Alabama, they need to find some answers up front. I mean, I just don't, watching that game offensively and how the plays were designed, I don't think they did anything to help their offensive line.
Saban mentioned something in his press conference that they were positionally giving away whether it was a pass or a run. It literally goes back to the movie Invincible, where he told him in a 3-point snatch that the blood was in the knuckles. It was a run. If it was there, if it was up, it was a pass. It was essentially giving away plays like that. And that makes me wonder if the thing that's going to fix Alabama is not going to be Tommy Rees leaving. Yeah, Tommy Rees, I don't know if he's that dude. I don't know if he's.
I don't think he's that dude, but I don't know. I knew he wasn't that dude. He wasn't that dude at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
He just wasn't.
Think about what Nick Saban did to Notre Dame over the years, and then thinking about when he was looking to make a coordinator change, it's like, hey, I want that guy.
No, it probably came down to, I guess I'll take that guy.
Yeah. Now Georgia can't talk much either, because after Todd Monken, they brought in Bobo, and we knew exactly how that was going to go, and they're getting off to slow starts like absolute nuts.
Yeah.
All the talent everywhere. And, you're worried they're going to first half cover. Now, it doesn't matter with their schedule because they play the weak sisters of the poor.
Mm-hmm. Hey, they got the mighty Beamer ball coming this week.
They got the SEC mid schedule.
Yeah.
Mid is more. Honestly, and I may be a little biased because it's in my bloodline, but the best coordinator they could have hired is down in Atlanta right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Calling plays for Georgia Tech, who look outstanding on offense.
Mm-hmm.
They can't stop a nosebleed, but they look outstanding on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Just so everybody knows, Corey's talking about Buster Faulkner, who's his cousin, who is the offensive coordinator at Georgia Tech. That's how connected we are on SEC After Dark.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can't get him on the phone, though. He's a tough man to reach. Very tough man to reach. His own mother can't get him on the phone, so I don't feel like
he's focused.
That's because she named him Buster. Let's just be real.
His real name's Harrison.
Oh, really?
Buster's a nickname.
Where'd he go to college?
Valdosta State.
Okay, maybe Buster makes sense then. If it was Georgia, I was like, Harrison feels like it would be a name that you would go by there. That feels like a very Georgia name.
He's been Buster all his life. I don't know where he got Buster from, but he's been Buster all his life.
Okay.
Nickname. But it's Harrison's his real name. His son is named Harrison. His son Harrison might be one of the top quarterbacks in 2026 in the state of Georgia.
Okay.
His son's like 6'2", 6'3".
Okay.
Can sling it.
Does his son go by Harrison?
Yeah.
Okay.
Son goes by Harrison.
Once we get into picks, we'll talk about that game. I think that is the biggest trap game in the history of trap games for Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is going to win the game. I don't think Georgia Tech is good enough to beat them. But if you're telling me that I'm going to have to give 20 points to Georgia Tech, I see this game as a 38-28, a 35-24. That's what I see in this game.
I just don't know that Georgia Tech has the horses. Like I think scheme wise, they're going to be good offensively. I just don't think they have the horses to be able to hang with a defense as talented as Ole Miss. Like you're going to see that things are there, but they just can't get to them because there's dudes on the other side that are preventing that. But you can see, like, conceptually, like, God, like if they had any semblance of talent right now, they'd probably be marching this ball up and down the field, but they don't.
By the way, the defense played better against Texas with Pete Golding than without him. Sorry, Jake.
So how vulnerable is Alabama in the West? I mean, are they still looking like the favorites?
No, I would say Ole Miss is the favorite right now.
I would say it's up for grabs. I mean, you've got Ole Miss right now.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Look, if talent-wise, Alabama is the best team in the West. Maybe next to them is LSU, but on the field-wise right now, it's Ole Miss all day.
I think as crazy as it sounds, is Alabama's left the door open for both Ole Miss and LSU to take that spot. Like it doesn't seem like.
I realized that Miami boat raced A&M, and I know I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, and they're going to let me down.
Don't stop.
I get that.
Stop.
But that is not a conference game, and that quarterback looks legit. Now, DJ Durkin's garbage. Just absolute crap.
Steve, Jimbo and Bobby Petrino are getting a fight at some point.
Yeah.
DJ Durkin is going to show.
They might have gotten into a fight after the game.
Yeah.
DJ Durkin is going to show nature videos during his meetings and completely gross and weird everybody out. So they're going to be distracted. And he sucks at calling defenses. You didn't hear this? You didn't hear about this? You don't know about this?
No.
Listen, okay. Story time. When he was at Maryland, the head coach at Maryland, like during like team meals, like in the dining hall, and like he would show clips, I guess, to get his point across to, like, you got to be a hunter and you got to maul people or whatever. He would show animals getting mauled by like lions. And like he would show, like, those National Geographic where like the tigers like run in and just freaking mauls an antelope or something. Like he would show those on freaking loop, and people would get weirded out by it. Like,
I'm sure.
I can't imagine why they got weirded out by it.
He had a player die on him.
Snowflake kids.
Because he pushed him too far. Like the kid was like showing obvious signs of like, hey, I don't need to be doing this right now, and basically called him a
but that's a captain of the ship argument more than the fact that he actually let it happen. Because DJ Durkin, I don't think it was even outside when it happened.
I don't know. You got
their strength now. He's responsible for the strength coach, but.
Yeah, the strength coach is a freaking lunatic, man. Like, he should have known that, too. I mean, captain of the ship is captain of the ship, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's not directly liable, but, like, that dude's freaking – there's a reason why the top strength coaches aren't freaking complete psychos, and they know when to push, how to push. That guy did not. And he had a track record of it.
Yeah. And then you look at –
Quit drinking the Kool-Aid, Steve. Just stop.
Stop. Kentucky's looked like garbage. Vandy's looked like garbage.
Yeah.
Florida.
LSU, they put 72 on Grambling, and they're absolutely melting down because of the way their defense played.
But I think it was late, close to the halftime before they finally pulled away against Grambling.
Yeah.
It was tight for a minute.
Yeah.
Georgia didn't score in the first quarter again.
Tennessee still struggling against Austin Peay.
Yeah, they made that.
Mississippi State started out with their hair on fire, but their second half they looked putrid.
They did. They looked awful.
Arkansas is just.
They struggled against Kent State.
And oh my goodness, MTSU almost got a win.
I know.
I know. I was rooting for them.
I'm telling you.
They look
And Auburn, I don't know what color the horseshoe is that's on the plains at the moment. Auburn had no business winning that football game.
If Cal had any semblance of a kicker or something.
Cal had the ball in the red zone like 8 times and failed to score. I mean, ridiculous.
But in SEC
Cal's
officials called play down to prevent a fumble being returned for a touchdown because it got blown dead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Cal's a whole new level of bad, though.
They are, but they still, if they had a quarterback, which they don't have a quarterback, they've got an athlete that can play like high school hero ball quarterback, but they don't have a quarterback. And
Steve, if they were even mid, they would have blown Auburn out.
Auburn was not good in that game. Not good at all.
Nobody. I mean, you could say all you want to about Georgia, 45-3. It was a clunky 45-3. I mean, they finally kind of got their what together, but it was like, dude, like, what are we doing?
Yep.
Georgia needed Stetson Bennett. How much are we talking about? How much they needed special Stetson Bennett, who was a 2-star walk-on quarterback that went to Jones County Junior College. But that guy was the one that made the offense run. And right now, nobody is making the offense run.
Mm.
I think Bobo's got the training wheels on Carson Beck, and that's a mistake. That's the problem. He's being too conservative. He's got the training wheels on him, and he doesn't need to.
I think Bobo sells. He's like that bike that is like permanent training wheels. They're not detachable. I think this kind of is what it is.
Your fans aren't telling each other that they're just not wanting to show their offense before an SEC game.
No,
that's what Tennessee fans are trying to tell themselves.
Ole Miss fans are doing that too, by the way.
Georgia fans are full on the fire Bobo train.
Oh wow! All right,
that's the train they're riding.
Nice.
Yeah, Alabama fans
they're ride or dying on that one.
Yeah, Alabama fans are saying that Nick Saban's going to retire, and it's just crazy.
I mean, that still might be true, but
by the way,
but he wouldn't.
Can we retire the Nick Saban former coach ticker before every time they play? I mean, Nick Saban's like 3-3 in his last 6. I mean, that's honestly, it looks impressive whenever he's like, hey, he's 25-3. No. Jimbo kind of broke that.
Jimbo did break it.
Yeah.
Jimbo broke it. Kirby shattered it. And now
Steve Sarkisian.
He went in reverse over it.
And then Lane Train's drooling over it.
And he'll still step on it and get a shard of glass in his foot somehow.
Because
that's what happens.
Lane is ready to call his shot. Just like the get your popcorn ready and all that. He is ready for something good to happen there. I don't know that it will, but Lane is going to go over there confident because he saw what Texas's tight end did to Alabama's defense, and he realizes that he has a better version of that.
He realizes that Nick Saban made a mistake in hiring. I mean, Kevin Steele, God love him, but like that was a struggle.
Didn't he give up like 77 points to West Virginia in a bowl game? Dana Holgerson, like Geno Smith.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Jake's over here just like, what the I hate you guys.
Oh, he's fuming. Jake's handling this pretty well. I thought he was going to find bomb and have the phones go down.
No.
Guys, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
I just
so
know.
funny. After Alabama loses every game, Feinstein's phones go down.
Yeah. No. I'm fine.
I mean, these are all issues that we saw coming with the coordinator stuff, with the quarterback stuff. The offensive slow start issues that Georgia's having, we all saw that coming. New quarterback with a offensive coordinator who
Jackson Dart's the best quarterback in the SEC right now.
Just like we said on our show, on our pregame show, we did our post or our review for South Florida. Essentially, Alabama's season starts right now. They're 1-1. They haven't lost an SEC game yet. SEC schedule's coming up. you got to get your stuff right against South Florida, and get ready for the tough games coming up. Because if you don't, then you're going to be 8-4, 9-3 at the end of the year.
Jeb, we're going to need you to explain this.
I mean, we know Voice of God has Ed Reed, but
Cassidy's into 70-year-old men. I don't know what in the world.
Is Cassie an Ole Miss fan now all of a sudden?
Hey, she might be talking about Auburn and Hugh Freeze sliding into her DMs.
Better watch yourself there, Jake.
I'll, if that's the case, then I would definitely
maybe we need some parental controls with Cassidy. That's all I'm saying.
You're gonna start getting calls from a burner phone. You better watch it.
It's like, how do you stop the wheel route? I was like, come on, you. We can't keep doing this. Seriously.
Gross.
Yeah.
The voice of God has spoken.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, we didn't get into picks. We're already 30 minutes in.
Oh yeah, let's get into
All
picks.
right.
Hey, it's time for picks. It just sounds like we all
Sponsored
belched.
by Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles. Hey,
Stewart's
time to
Cajun
get locked on pickles. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles.
Green
that
beans and
is.
asparagus.
Offering a variety of Cajun spice products like pickles, green beans, okra, even carrots, and asparagus. Thank you, Corey. Corey's going to live taste that next week. He's going to do a Cajun dill pickle next week on the show.
Yes.
But what everybody needs to know, this is a family-owned company, and they're homemade on the coast in Mississippi. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles have been pleasing pickle lovers for over 20 years now, and they've become the South's favorite pickle. These are truly the best pickles you'll ever have. A strong dill flavor with a Cajun punch. No joke there. Seriously, they're legit. No over sour taste. This being a small business, they strive to keep the produce fresh and local from the start, keeping the final pickle product extra crisp and crunchy. You can find these pickle products online at thepicklestore.com or at your local Rouse's Market or other local southern stores near you, especially on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. I know you went down to New Orleans, but down in that area, you can get them as well. Try these pickles, okra and beans today. You will not be disappointed. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, the South's favorite pickle.
All right.
I know Steven's having trouble speaking tonight. Of course, we all do. But
Well, it's the pickles. They lit him up. They
lit me up pretty good. I wasn't thinking about my reader whenever I get that. Those things have a little bit of a kick.
He was thinking, hot. Damn, this thing's hot. So anyway, these lines are presented by betonline.ag as well. So we got our week 3 picks. So coming in, Steve is coming in with a record of 23-11, followed up by the duo of Jake and Cassidy.
Yeah, that
22-12. Followed by then Jeb at 20-14, myself at 19-15, and Becky, the voice of God, at 18-16. So I've got to get on my horse here.
Yeah, don't want to get passed by Becky.
No,
oh,
I can't finish.
Hey. It's a shot.
I can't finish DFL. That's the problem. And if you want to know what DFL stands for, well, I can't say it because this is a family show.
Can you act it out?
Oh, I
definitely can't act it out.
That means dead effing last.
Yeah, I definitely can't act it out either. Because the whole middle.
This is not an Auburn live stream. Sorry.
Oh.
Okay, so
All right.
So Becky, we're gonna go by record here. So it's gonna be you, me, Jeb, followed by Jake, Cassidy, and Steve's gonna go last. That's
You know what? When I'm totally dropping the ball here, you guys are real quick to know what the record was. I just want to point out, last year y'all couldn't find the record. It's weird how this works.
We didn't want to find the record, but it's written. Just so you guys know, it's written.
Who keeps up with the records, though, Becky?
That would be Mr. Willis. Yeah, I know. Something about happy wife, happy life. I
could barely get my picks in on time. You know, I ain't keeping up with it.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes both ways, Becky. Also, happy husband. Who gives a shit? You're right. Never mind. All right.
Of course, Jeb was the last one to get his picks in this week.
Well, yeah, I didn't know everybody had gotten on and done it. Y'all,
Oh, yeah,
y'all
you're
were
funny.
fast.
18 and
Look at that.
Funny. Okay. Lulling you into a false sense of security is what's happening right now. It's called the long game, sir.
Oh man.
This is going to be interesting.
Turd.
Okay, Becky, speaking of turds, LSU -10 at Mississippi State.
I'm just saying, LSU makes me so mad because I can't, with any confidence, pick them for anything right now. And that then makes me pick
'em for
Mississippi
women's
State
basketball.
to cover, which is just a shame. But I'm picking Mississippi State.
Okay. I'm gonna slightly disagree with you there. I think LSU, I think this is one of the games they actually can cover because Mississippi State is a team with the tale of two halves. This begins a brutal stretch of games for Mississippi State. Well, their whole schedule is kind of brutal, so I guess that makes sense, right? But I think LSU is primed. I think they're going to win this game by 2 touchdowns. So I'm taking the Tigers on the road here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Florida State is a lot better than we thought they'd be, even in knowing that they were going to be good. And I still think they're playing a lot better than I thought. I think LSU is still really good. Mississippi State's having a good season, but LSU's a better team, and I'm taking them to cover that 10 points this week.
All right, Jake.
Me and Cass are picking Mississippi State. My reasoning is that, like Steve mentioned earlier, Mississippi State started out strong against Arizona. I don't know what happened to LSU against Grambling. It took a quarter and a half to get going. If that happens this week, Mississippi State's could get out to like a 14-point lead and be kind of hard to catch back up. I don't think Mississippi State, wins this game outright, but I think they can cover it, and it'd be like a 7-point game.
Yeah.
Steve?
I'm playing the emotional hedge game in this situation. If I kind of want LSU to win this game and cover so that, let's say Ole Miss wins against Georgia Tech and they beat Alabama. I want that game in Oxford to be an absolute madhouse at the end of September. For that to happen, LSU has to win the game, but I'm going to give myself an emotional hedge to where even if they don't cover, I can still feel better about it. And I'm taking the Mississippi State Bulldogs. I do not like what they looked like in the second half of that game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Will Rogers is that dude. I just don't.
I don't think they have that dude yet. He's not on campus. All right, Becky, the next game, Kansas State, they are 5-point favorites on the road at Mizzou. This game's on SEC Network.
Yeah, I originally had picked Missouri for this one, but then I realized I'm just being a total homer. I really think Kansas State's going to embarrass Missouri this week.
I completely concur. I was thinking last week, MTSU and Missouri. I was like, nah, cuz MTSU's about to cover this. That's way too many points. I think Kansas State's just going to bully them up front. They play that North Dakota State style of football, and they are vastly improving within their own conference. We'll see how they are without Deuce Vaughn, but this Kansas State team is building a program where they're just going to start to kind of be that one of those Big 12 teams to look out for. So give me the Wildcats of the Little Apple.
Yeah, I can't really disagree. I kind of like Missouri's defense. They're a solid squad, but Kansas State is just too good of a team, and it's only 5 points. I'm taking Kansas State to cover that.
The power couple here is also picking Kansas State. Missouri against MTSU struggled, and Kansas State's a lot better than MTSU. So I think, like it has been mentioned, it's gonna be a boat race. So I think Kansas State covers easily.
It's got to be weird for Kansas State knowing that they're not Superman's favorite team, and he is a Kansas fan. I do not know if Kansas State is Lex Luthor's favorite team. I do not know. I do know that they are building a juggernaut in the Big 12 at the moment, and Missouri might have been looking ahead against MTSU. I don't know, but Kansas State, I think, is going to cover that 5 pretty easily. I think they're going to win by 10, 12 points.
Way to build in the DC and X-Men references. Juggernaut.
Yeah.
All right. We encourage you guys in the chat to play along with us at home. Throw your picks in the chat window. Feel free to do that so you can compete with us, and maybe one of y'all can beat us. Becky still is the reigning champion. We have to give her credit there. All right, South Carolina comes to Athens to take on the Dogs. That is the CBS 2:30 game or 3:30 game on the East Coast. Georgia is 27.5-point favorites. Becky,
no, and this has nothing to do with Georgia, which I know sounds stupid because Georgia's awesome. South Carolina's got to have something, man, or else their whole season's just going to be a nightmare zone for them. I think this is the week where they gain back a little bitty, tiny bit of self-respect, and they're not going to allow Georgia to just dominate them. And it's going to shock everybody. So I'm going with South Carolina.
I so desperately want to take the points here because I just don't think Georgia can score quickly and often enough to cover a 28-point spread. But then again, I'm just picking the Dogs because, you know what? Screw it. Right? I'm not going to put any actual money on them, but for this segment, screw it. Carson Beck gets it together, and we put up 30, and we shut them out.
Man, if you'd asked me before we started this season, there's no way I'd have taken that many points. I expect Georgia to win this game fairly handily, but that seems like such a big spread to me. And South Carolina, though, they just have not played well this season. But I don't like South Carolina much. You know, we know what happened between them and Tennessee last year. I'm not a fan of theirs at all. But they're better than they've played. And at some point, they've got to pull this together and start playing better. And I just feel like this week they're going to at least keep it close enough to maybe only lose by, 18 to 20. So I'm taking them to cover the points, but they need to step up the game or that's not going to happen.
Jake?
Cassidy is picking Georgia. I'm picking South Carolina. So that's a difference on us. 27.5 points. That is a lot of points. I can see this game being like a 20 to 24 point victory for Georgia, but I think, like Becky said, South Carolina's got to get some self-respect back because they just struggled this year so far. I mean, they let Furman stay in it way too long than what they should have. So, I think they at least covered the spread, but they still probably get beat by 20, 24 points.
In this game, I look at it and I was like, how many points can South Carolina realistically score in this game? And I keep coming to 10 points. Just give South Carolina 10 points in this game. Can Georgia score 38? And I think they can. This feels like it's going to be a 45-10 type game. I think Georgia is going to win this fairly handily. Like I said, I would not put money on this.
No.
But if you want to ask me, I think this is kind of Georgia's get right game.
Georgia against the spread is rarely a good bet lately, but
yeah,
this is the type of get back game here. So there you go. There you go. Pretty split on that one. So our next game is Alabama, 32-point road favorites at South Florida. That's an ABC game. So Vegas doesn't think that loss took too much of a hit on Alabama and their chances of covering big spreads. So, Becky, are you buying it or are you taking South Florida to cover?
Honestly, in my gut, I think Alabama's got it and they are going to win by more than 32. I'm taking South Florida, though, just because I can't stand that big of a spread. And, South Florida, surprise Bama a little bit. Bama's got it in the bag, though.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I think one of my biggest mistakes would be not picking Alabama in this situation. South Florida I think they made the right hire with Alex Golesh. Mm-hmm. I just think they're just still really bad talent-wise. They're still really depleted. I don't know that this is the right game for them to cover. Any other team with a big spread, I would think about it. But not Alabama, not after what just happened. I'm taking the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I'm definitely rooting for USF's coach to have a good run there at USF, but I don't think it'll be this week. I kind of with Becky as far as I don't like the big spreads like this, but every time I pick against Alabama, like they just seem to live for ruining my picks every week. So I'm going to continue to pick Alabama, and maybe that way I'll just continue to be wrong, and it'll work out in my favor. Sorry, Jake.
Yeah, you good, Jeb. All right, so I need a few minutes here. So we're picking Alabama, me and Casty are. But Alabama in this game, they've got several things they got to work on. And the biggest one is mentality. This is where it's all got to start for this team. Too many mistakes, too many busted coverages, losing the line of scrimmage, which in the SEC, if you lose the line of scrimmage, you're in deep doo-doo. So they've got to get right here. I kind of agree with Becky picking South Florida because there is rumors and talk about some severe storms being down there this weekend. So if it's raining, you're probably not going to be passing a lot, or you're going to have a lot of drop balls, a lot of 3 and outs, if that's the case. So, but Alabama needs to get right here because if they don't, it's going to be a long season. It's got to start with this game. You got to blow South Florida out of the water. So I think my prediction on our show was I said 52 to 10. So I think that's what it's going to be. I think Alabama covers.
All right, Steve.
Well, and this is one of those games for whatever reason. And I'm going to pick Alabama in this game, so I'm taking Bama. But does this not just feel like a 35-3 Alabama win, to where it's been an absolute blowout and there's nothing that South Florida can do about it? But that old style Nick Saban win. Well, that's not a cover. That would be a push,
right?
And if Alabama gives up 10 points, can they score 42? If they give up 17 points, can they score 49? It's just a lot of points. I'm going to take Alabama because I believe in Jalen Milroe or whatever you want to hear, about that. But Alabama has 5 stars all over the field. South Florida is not good. They have not been good for quite some time. The Willie Taggart hire for them just started them on a road of decline, and South Florida is trying to figure out how to get out of it. So maybe they need to bring Jim Leavitt back. I don't know.
Daniel, I love Lane, but no, I'm good. I've been through some very terrible seasons as a Bama fan, so I'm not one of these Bama fans where the sky's falling, all that. I'm realistic. I know after Saban retires, we're going to have some bad years. Now, bad years in Alabama standards is 9-3. So, and I don't think our fan base is up to handling that. But
Ray Perkins,
I am. I 9-3, I'll be probably fine with, because most of these guys here, most SEC schools would be happy with a 9-3 season. Mm-hmm. And so I'm that type of guy. I'm realistic. Saban is the greatest coach ever, but something's just not clicking with the guys right now. I don't know if it's coaching or it's just, I don't know. He just ain't got it figured out yet. And this may be his last chance to do it. And who knows?
But we can't all say we were here during the greatest coaches ever run. I mean, it's
right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not going to say I was happy through it, but I'm glad I got to see it.
Technically, I was alive when Bear Bryant was coaching too. So,
well, you've been around since the dinosaurs, Steve. Come on,
yeah.
You've been around since Newt Rockne was the coach.
Yeah. little Pop Warner.
Yeah, you were John Heisman's analyst.
Which, by the way, in the middle of our picks, I'm really excited because this is the about 80-year feud at Georgia Tech actually going to Oxford. That's actually a big deal. A lot of people don't know that Georgia Tech's not in the SEC right now because of Ole Miss.
Right.
Because after they threw their temper tantrum after the Alabama thing and left the conference, they tried to get back in. They even had letters of recommendation from Bear Bryant and Vince Dooley. And Ole Miss is like, nah, we're good.
Funny you should say that, because we're going to pick that game in a little bit. Our next game, Louisiana Monroe is traveling to College Station to take on Texas A&M, who is 36.5-point road or home favorites, I should say, on the SEC network.
What has Bobby Petrino done?
Look, all I know is Texas A&M is not winning this game by more than 3 touchdowns. Just not going to happen. So I'm taking Louisiana.
The voice
Monroe.
of God is spoken.
No, yeah,
and I agree with the voice of God. I'm not. Look, I'm just going to let them prove me wrong. I'm just gonna potentially take the L on this pick. I'm gonna let them prove me wrong because I know they won't. All right, they will not cover 36.5. They may win by 30, but they ain't winning by 38 points. There's just not happening. If ULM even sniffs a touchdown, they're going to have to score 45, and I don't think they can do that. I don't think they're together enough to do that. I don't think their defense is good enough to stop ULM from scoring less than 10 points. Like I just don't think it's going to happen.
This Kool-Aid is delicious.
So you can have my shares of Kool-Aid, Steve. Jeb, what do you think?
Man, I struggle with this one because I tend to agree with y'all. I do not like that point spread. I really wanted to take ULM. I'm going with A&M only because their offense really is playing well. Like I think they're going to score points. The question is, can they stop the other team? And ULM, I just don't think it's got enough in them to score enough to cover the spread. So I'm going to go with A&M covering, but I'm not happy about it.
Jake?
We're both taking A&M. And one question, guys, when's the first time, well, this is not the first time that since I've been on this show, that there's a team that has a higher point spread in a week than Alabama. You know, usually Alabama's the one that has like the 40-point spread.
Well, Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah, Alabama and Georgia. So now it's A&M. So this feels like a show me moment for A&M. They struggled last week against Miami. I feel like Miami's gotten better, but I just don't think A&M played their best game. No, I don't think A&M played their best game either. So against ULM, I think they get it together at least this week offensively. Connor Whitman is a really, really good quarterback,
and
they do have talent on that offensive side of the ball. I think they can put up scores in droves. It's just like Jeb and Corey has said. Can they stop? ULM. If the ULM scores 10 points, there's not a chance that they cover.
No, not a chance. Jeb
A&M
or Steve?
Nope. Yeah, A&M. A&M's. I'm drinking all the Kool-Aid.
Stop drinking your Ecto Cooler Kool-Aid.
They're gonna win the West.
What everybody needs to realize that might think I'm taking me a little bit seriously, I am putting the jinx right now hard on Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're drinking. You're fully on the Petrino train. You're riding the back of Petrino's motorcycle right now.
This game has got 38-10 written all over it.
It does, honestly.
Yeah, I keep trying to put the jinx on Alabama, but Nick Saban is good at just plowing right through that. So far, I'm gonna keep trying.
Ooh. Speaking the next game, it's like a 1997 game of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee 6.5-point favorites at Florida. This reminds me of like 2006, where Urban Meyer comes in like desperate, needing to beat Tennessee. Two teams that are one team that's kind of struggling, and another team that's really on the struggle bus. Tennessee is at the bus stop, waiting to get picked up by the struggle bus. It's not there yet. Florida's driving the struggle bus. So we're going to try to figure out who's going to win this game. Tennessee 6.5-point favorites at the Swamp, which says a lot. Becky, are you taking that or no?
Tennessee is going to whoop the crap out of Florida. Tennessee has no love for Florida. This is happening. I don't have a strong love for Tennessee, but I cannot wait to see them shove it right down Florida's throat.
Did Tennessee lose back-to-back games at Florida on Hail Marys?
Yeah.
Not this year.
Jeb?
Not. It's been a while if they have.
Yeah.
They haven't won down there since what, 2003 though, have they?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been a long time. So I don't know.
A long time.
The last time they won there, me and Becky were in the Navy.
In the Navy.
That's true.
Yeah, so I agree with Becky. I think Tennessee's going to roll. My SEC sports hatred for both of these football programs is pretty strong. But I think Tennessee wins big at the Swamp. I think they break the Swamp curse.
Well, I'm obviously taking the Vols, and I'm always going to take the Vols. Well, no, that's not true. But I am definitely this week. I don't know how I feel about that, though. If you're betting money on it, I don't know if I would, only because when Florida wins, they can blow Tennessee out. It happens. When Tennessee wins, it's always close. I don't know why. We cannot get away with a good win against Florida. no matter and you have to go
Jeb.
well past 2003 to get that.
A win is a good win against.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I think we might win, but even if we do, we might not be covering 6.5 points because we just can't blow out Florida. It just doesn't happen. But this year, I'm taking us to do it. We're going to do it this time, even though Joe Milton has still not shown me that he's the man. I'm having faith. I'm having faith in taking the Vols.
All right, Jake.
Me and Cassidy are taking Tennessee. If I remember correctly, Anthony Richardson showed up and showed out in that Tennessee game last year. He's not walking through that door. He's not the quarterback this year. So I think Tennessee's all right with that. But I will give that defense of Florida some advice. Just cover the deep ball because if Joe Milton has to throw a 5-yard out, he's going to knock the receiver over anyway. So just cover the deep ball and y'all be fine. I just don't know if y'all got enough horses on the offensive side of the ball to beat Tennessee. So I say this like a 2-point touchdown win for Tennessee.
Hey, trust me, if he's throwing short, you don't want to get in the way anyway. Just get out of the way.
Jake, a 2-point win is
a two touchdown win, I should say.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah. I think Florida is going to call some ball plays and make some plays out there and make sure you can spell citrus without UT and all of the stuff that Tennessee finishes, third in the SEC. All of those jokes are going to come back. It's going to hit Tennessee like a ton of Brits. Graham Mertz is going to throw for like 108 yards in this game. It's going to be miraculous. Was Trevor Etienne? I think that's his name. Is he Trevor or Travis?
Trevor. Travis plays for the Jaguars.
He's going to run for 42 yards and maybe even score a touchdown. Tennessee is going to not cover in this game. Florida is going to win the game outright, 14-13.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, Spike Kool-Aid over there.
I don't think Jeb will be here next week if that happens.
I'm gonna say your wife's gonna be in the car with me. You don't want that to happen.
Steve, what's in that bottle there, bud?
Yeah, what's on? Yeah, I think
that's his Gatorade.
I think
I know Graham Mertz throwing for 108 yards. I get that. I understand. I hear it.
That's laughable.
Yeah.
Is it the pickles that's rotting your brain here? What's going on here, man?
Those pickles do not rot my brain. They give me super strength in the brain.
There you go.
Okay.
The Cajun Dill products are fantastic. They do amazing
okra,
work.
man. It gets you.
All right. Well, let's pick up the pace here a little bit. All of us are unanimous on Auburn. There's no line yet, but I'm
yuck.
Yeah. All right. Vandy at UNLV. Let's move through this one pretty quick. Vandy is 4-point favorites on the road at UNLV. Becky.
Yeah, Vandy's got this. They're gonna have it by at least 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Vandy's on the struggle bus, but they ain't struggling that much. UNLV is a terrible program. Give me the doors.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you as well. They'll bounce back a little bit this week, a little better, and I think they'll cover this one pretty easily.
Jake.
We both are taking Vandy as well. I think they cover by 14, 17 points.
Steve.
Vandy, AJ Swan, Will Sheppard, miraculous combo in the Southeastern Conference this year.
Will Sheppard, yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, our next game. This will be kind of exciting. The Cougs come to Fayetteville, and they're taking on the Hogs. Hogs are 9.5-point favorites at home. Kind of a weird spread on ESPN2. Becky, what you got?
And I think home field advantage for this one. For me, just puts them over the top. So I'm going to go with Arkansas.
Okay. I once heard somebody describe the BYU as the Iowa of 2023. It's not a compliment.
No.
So I'm taking the Razorbacks.
I watched Nebraska play last week.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, Nebraska just watched Iowa and said, "You know what? We want that for our offense."
Yes, and unfortunately, they don't have the defense or the special teams to go with it. I'm picking Arkansas, by the way. Jeb.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. It looks like we're mostly picking Arkansas. I thought BYU was a decent team last year. I haven't really watched them much this year, but
lost everybody.
Yeah, and that's true. And I know Tennessee has at least 2 of their players that transferred over. So
yeah,
and that's kind of what got me thinking. Arkansas is still playing really well this year, so I'm gonna take them to cover in this game.
Jake.
We're both taking Arkansas. I'll be honest. If it was a 10-point spread, I would pick BYU. But I think Arkansas wins this game by 10. So I'm picking Arkansas.
All right. Steve.
I think Rocket Sanders is out for this game. Worth keeping an eye on.
Really?
It's probably going to keep the scores slow down a little bit, but I'm going to take Arkansas in this game just because Fayetteville's weird, man. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to win there.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do much of anything there. It's just an
Yeah.
odd place. All right.
That's true.
So we got our next game, Kentucky, 25.5-point favorites at home against Akron. Looks like we're all picking Kentucky, but Becky, I'm going to let you explain Akron.
I just have zero faith in Kentucky to do anything they're supposed to do. I just can't do it. Like, I don't trust them. So I'm picking Akron to at least cover the spread. I think Kentucky's going to win, but I don't think it's going to be pretty, and they're not going to be proud.
Yeah.
Akron is horrendous.
Yeah.
They are horrendous.
I know nothing about Akron.
They are.
terrible.
They are.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Tire joke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They are a
Accurate, yeah.
Corey Burton arm hair away from being Kent State, which is god awful.
I'm
Kentucky didn't
still
look
going to
good
take
this
them
last
over
week,
Kentucky.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
don't think they're going to cover.
Everybody else takes Kentucky. Let's
Yeah.
get to the game of the week. Well, it's not the game of the week, but it's
game of
the
the week.
Nerds in
Uh-huh.
Von Hemingway.
Yeah. So Ole Miss hosting the Nerds, Georgia Tech, and Buster Faulkner. They are 20-point favorites. This is an interesting spread because Georgia Tech can score, but they can't stop anybody, Becky.
Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it, but Lane Kiffin, like, obviously love Ole Miss, but he makes these really stupid calls for no reason. 3 or 4 games a year. He did it last game with that 50 some odd field goal. You know,
that
it worked
worked
out in
out.
our favor, but it easily could have not. I'm hoping that he'll go ahead and make a couple more stupid calls this game, get it out, and then we can be serious for the rest of the season. I'm picking Georgia Tech to cover the spread. Ole Miss is definitely going to
You're
win.
not a
though.
homer.
Well, I feel like a jerk even saying it, but
Yeah,
like
not a
I just
homer.
want him to get it out of his system. Make these stupid calls now.
Yeah,
Of course,
done.
Steve is a homer. I mean,
yeah,
he acts like he hosts this.
that
locker
is
room listening.
that is affecting my reputation. My wife picking Georgia Tech in a game.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mhm.
Don't worry, Steve. I got you. All right. I'm taking Old Mississippi here. I just think that Georgia Tech, you like that Old Mississippi?
Yeah, takes me back to rivals.
Yeah. we got a commitment to Old Mississippi University. So I think I do that just to mess with Steve. I love it. So Georgia Tech, as much improved as they are, I just don't think they have the horses to cover a 20-point spread with Ole Miss. Ole Miss is explosive. Georgia Tech is sort of explosive on offense, but how explosive? What have they done against other opponents? I mean, I guess Louisville has been their best test. They scored pretty adequately, but their defense was still pretty
In a
bad.
quarter, they had one good quarter in that Louisville game.
Yeah.
They just don't have the depth. They just don't
Yeah.
have the dudes to sustain all of that. The concepts are there. The openings are there. They just don't have the dudes to sustain it. And against
then
a
you
team
have-
like Ole Miss, it's not good.
And Haynes King has that wind up like a 1915 baseball pitcher. You know,
Or
it-
Tim Tebow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got the longest throwing motion I've ever seen, and everybody's like, Haynes King doesn't like to throw it in tight windows. It's like, everybody knows it's there.
Him and Byron Leftwich and Tim Tebow all throw grenades. Jeb,
And,
No,
and Joe Madden.
I agree with you. I see this as one of those where it may start off with a Georgia Tech looking decent. They may score, I think, 17 to 20 points in this game, but I also think Ole Miss will score at least 40. So I'm taking them to cover these points. I think it'll end up being a blowout. Even it might start off decent, but the end of the game won't be that fun. Unless you're an Ole Miss fan.
then it will be. Well, Georgia Tech doesn't. Their fans don't really exist until the Georgia game, until they beat Georgia. Then they come out of the woodworks. That's the thing about
they'd
that.
be everywhere then.
Yeah, that's all you
Although-
hear.
Although they played Georgia better than TCU did last year.
Yeah,
Ooh,
you're right.
yeah.
You're not wrong.
Mhm.
You're not wrong. A lot of teams played Georgia better than TCU did.
Yeah, y'all
Jake?
broke TCU.
We're both picking Ole Miss. I kind of struggled for a little while on this one, but overall, I think Ole Miss is definitely the better team. I do think Georgia Tech's offense is getting better each and every week. The defense still got issues big time, and I think Judkins and Dart and all them guys are going to have a field day with that defense. So I can see Mississippi State or Ole Miss putting up daggum 50 points in this game and win like 50 to 17, 20.
Yeah, I've kind of been doing a reverse jinx on this one all week, talking about what's going on, because I do think this is kind of an ultimate trap game potential with a road game against a ranked team. Alabama next week on CBS, a road game, and then you have a team that you beat 42-0 last year this week. And that's I go back and forth. I'm like, is this game going to be like a 38-28, or is this game going to be like a 42-20? And I think I lean more towards like that 42-20 score line, and Ole Miss is going to be able to cover. And honestly, that 20, I think, might be Georgia Tech scoring late and not Ole Miss kind of getting a backdoor cover.
Yeah. I can see that going the way. I think Ole Miss's defense will play better than people think in this game.
Yeah, because
Ole Miss's defense will be better than
they
they were
star
last year.
Defensive coordinator in Pete Golding, and we're just so lucky to have him. And I have no idea why anybody would get rid of that man.
You'll see.
He won't care. He won't care.
Give it a couple weeks.
Yeah.
He won't care. All right, so that does it for our picks. Am I leaving out anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Right,
I think we can go.
All right, that's doing it
So
for our
20
picks.
minutes, Corey's going to get us out of here.
Yeah,
20 minutes.
So by 10 o'clock, we'll be out. No, 10 o'clock my time. So, yeah, we are SEC After Dark. We thank you for joining us. You can always catch us anywhere you catch your podcast or right here on the YouTube channel. Catch Steve each and every day on Locked On Ole Miss. Catch Jake, Tide Talk Live. Catch me, Bleav In Georgia Dawgs, and at Illegal Motion has been back and running. So you catch me there as well. Jeb,
Nice.
whenever they finally release you on bail, you can do one of your new episodes of your new podcast, whatever that is. 1923 reaction, After Dark commentary. You can catch us all there too, as well. We're going to start doing some more of that. That's more off-season type content for us. We're just enamored with football stuff right now. So,
And the Derek Vandegrift shows are doing pretty well.
They are.
and the Derek Vandegrift shows are doing outstanding. So, a lot of happening on this channel. So there's the YouTube shorts are going to come back. I'm going to do one eventually. I know I keep saying that, but it's going to happen, right? Especially when we get in the meat of the SEC schedule. So there you go.
Yeah.
But we are SEC After Dark, presented by DeadSoxy, BetOnline.ag, and Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, plus okra and carrots and green beans.
Yeah, the pickles. Just do the pickles.
We will see you back here next week. Hopefully my picks are much improved. But until then, go Dogs.
Go Vols.
Toddy.
Roll Tide.